This is the second part of the male reproductive system, which consists of duct system. So now coming to the next part of the male reproductive system, that is the secondary sex organs. And as you can recall, secondary sex organs are going to include will be the duct system and the accessory glands. First coming to the duct system. So the duct system will be starting from the seminiferous tubule. So this is the site. The seminiferous tubules are highly convoluted, and if you recall, we said the internal structure of the testes are divided into lobes, compartments, which is referred to as the testicular lobules. And within each testicular lobules there will be 1 to 3 highly coiled tubules, which we call as the seminiferous tubule. These are the sites, these are the places where formation of sperms will take place. And the lining of the seminiferous tubule contains two types of cells. One is the male germ cells, which by the process of meiosis will give rise to the haploid sperm, and the other are large elongated Sertoli cells, and the main function is to provide nourishment to the developing sperm. Besides that, they are also going to secrete will be an androgen binding protein that is going to concentrate the testosterone inside the seminiferous tubule, which is needed for the process of spermatogenesis. Plus they are going to secrete a fluid for the transport of the sperm. Now this seminiferous tubule will lead into 25 straight tubules called as tubuli recti, and these tubuli recti will join to form a network called as rete testes. From rete testes will arise 10 to 20 fine tubules called as vasa efferentia, and that is going to leave the testes and open into the next part of the duct system, that is epididymis. The epididymis is a single convoluted tubule that is located along the posterior surface of the testes, and here in this place the sperms get matured and storage of the sperms occur. Meaning if this epididymis is not present, then the sperms will not become functional. So maturation of sperm is an important step to make them functional. Now that epididymis will continue as the vas deferens, and this will ascend, go back into the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal. Now near the urinary bladder, as we showed in the diagram in the previous video, it's going to loop over the urinary bladder and is going to receive the duct from the seminal vesicle to form the ejaculatory ducts. Now two ejaculatory ducts from two sides will join and pass through the single prostrate gland and open into the urethra, which is going to pass through the penis and open to outside by the urethral meatus. This is the longitudinal section of the mammalian testes, where we are showing is the testes in an LS form. You have the 3 layers outside. We said the testes is covered by 3 layers. Outside will be tunica vaginalis. Then next layer, the fibrous layer, tunica albugina, that is also going to form the septum and divide the testes into lobules or compartments, which we said are called as testicular lobules. And the innermost vascular layer, that is tunica vasculosa, which is lining these compartments. And then within these testicular lobules, these compartments that you can see here as a testicular lobule, they will be present 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules, and these highly coiled seminiferous tubules are the places where the process of spermatogenesis is going to take place, that is formation of the sperms. Now these convoluted tubules or coiled tubules will form straight tubules, and this is called as tubuli recti, and these are going to form a network here, and this network of these straight tubules, that is tubuli recti, is called as the rete testes, and from the rete testes will arise fine tubules which is called as vasa efferentia, and they are going to enter into this coiled or convoluted tubule called as the epididymis. And the epididymis, you have the head part or the caput epididymis, the body of the epididymis, and the cauda or the tail of the epididymis. And here the sperm storage and maturation is going to occur inside. And this is going to continue as the vas deferens enter the abdominal cavity and go over the urinary bladder and get ducts from the seminal vesicle, form the ejaculatory duct, and then go through the prostate, receive a duct from the urinary bladder, and continue as the urethra, which opens to outside. So this is about the structure of the longitudinal section of the testes. So you have one question related to the duct system of the male reproductive system. So you have to start is from the seminiferous tubule. So from the seminiferous tubule, the next part will be tubuli recti, next part will be rete testes, next part will be vasa efferentia, then will be the epididymis, then vas deferens, then will be the ejaculatory duct, then it will be the urethra, which opens to outside via the urethral meatus. So this is the parts you have to mention if you have to write about the duct system of the male reproductive system. Now coming to the accessory glands. Accessory glands, as you can recall, we said there were three: a pair of seminal vesicle, a single prostate gland, and a pair of bulbourethral or Copper's glands. And all the secretions from all these glands, collectively these are called as seminal plasma, and they are rich in fructose, calcium, and certain enzymes, and these are going to provide nutrition. Fructose, because of the presence of the fructose, they are going to provide nutrition to the sperms and also provide a medium for the transport of the sperm so that they can move in the female reproductive tract and go to the fallopian tube for fertilization. The seminal plasma, that means the secretion from all the three glands along with the spermatozoa, is called as semen. Now coming to each gland in slightly detail, first will be the seminal vesicle. These are a pair present at the base of the urinary bladder, and they are going to produce is an alkaline secretion which forms 60% of the volume of the semen. They contain fructose, prostaglandins, and clotting factors. Fructose, because that is going to provide as a source of energy for the sperm. Prostaglandins are short fatty acids that stimulates uterine contraction, so that when the female reproductive tract receives the sperms, these uterine contraction will push the sperms towards the fallopian tube, because that is the site where fertilization is going to take place. Clotting factors that are present will help the sperms to coagulate after ejaculation. An alkaline nature of the secretion will neutralize the acidity in the male urethra and in the female reproductive tract. Next gland, that is the prostate gland. It's a single large gland which produces milky and slightly alkaline secretion and forms only 25% of the volume of the semen. And the secretions from these glands will nourish and activate the sperms to swim. Last gland will be the bulbourethral or the Copper's gland. So these are a pair present on either side of the urethra. They produce an alkaline fluid that neutralizes the acids from the urine and also produce mucus for lubrication. The external genitalia. Penis is the male external genitalia, and it's made up of special erectile tissue. So there are two bundles of it: dorsal corpora cavernosa and one ventral corpus spongiosum. And these erectile tissue will help in the erection of the penis to help facilitate or help in insemination, that is transfer of the male gamete into the female reproductive tract. You're going to find that the tip of the penis is slightly enlarged, and it's called as glans penis. And the glans penis is covered by a loose fold of skin. It should be skin here, called as skin. So introduce that, called as foreskin or prepuce, and the penis carries both urine and the semen. So that's all about the external genitalia. Thank you. You make your own notes from these videos because no type notes are available. So if you have any doubts, any question, so you can contact me. God bless you all.